A.I.M.S, and it's going to be an exciting day with all of you. The first thing we're going to do is go over the introduction to A.I.M.S so you guys can get a more brief idea of what A.I.M.S is going to be doing and the types of work classes that we're going to have. So I'm just going to read to you guys a little quick overview of what A.I.M.S is going to be. So I want to welcome you all to A.I.M.S and thank you for your interest in the Ancient Intelligent Mystery School, also known as A.I.M.S. We're committed to revolutionizing your transformation and awakening in cutting edge, immaculate research, wisdom, and general practice. So we have taken the best of 5 decades to deliver your optimum transformation and awakening experience and training. We can ignite your sacred destiny and initiate you in the most effective daily spiritual practices to maintain your dreams. These teachings are priceless in a world of ineffective spiritual technologies, of less experienced teachers and mentors. So we have dedicated our lives to seek and clearly discern spiritual evolution. These sessions have been carefully designed over 5 decades of metaphysical initiations, training, and profound ancient intelligence recall that understands and aligns your ancient sacred contracts. We are initiates, alchemists, metaphysicians, sacred contracts, and stargate keepers. So we work in the shadows to serve the light, and we are committed in saving humanity and the earth. We are committed to you. We are committed to healing and awakening your sacred destiny and your sacred sovereignty. We have been sacred guided to lead this revolution in truth, sacred knowledge, and definitive metaphysical teachings that are unquestionably formidable force of change within self-mastery and the world change. We believe in authentic spiritual work that builds and empowers revolution in our lives and relationships. So this community is based all over the world, and our students will often can meet us in person here or online, like we're doing right now here at Glastonbury and also Avery. We do training and tours all over the world. We offer this both online and right now on Zoom live. So welcome, that was the introduction. You'll all get a copy of this as a PDF format with the course breakdown and also with our structure as well. So we're just going to go over really quick the A.I.M course structure so you guys can have an understanding of what we're going to be doing. So the Ancient Intelligent Mystery School offers comprehensive training that incorporates both metaphysics and mysticism along with channeled ancient intelligence teachings. Each month you'll be able to join us live online sessions at sacred power sites, earth chakra sites, to target and overhaul your consciousness timelines, accelerate awakening and transformation of self-reality, journey, and relationships. You'll also receive via email the A.I.M sacred text for each reality gateway before we open them. The sacred text comes in a PDF format. That will be your study guide, your spiritual practices. And after each session, you'll also receive the Zoom audio recording like you're doing now. And that's pretty much what we're going to do as far as the structure starting out. This reality gateway right now, I'll go over that real quick. So we're going to do 5 reality gateways in each session, and each reality gateways have 5 parts. So right now, reality gateway part 1, in reality gateway 1 includes the introduction to A.I.M.S, initiation to A.I.M.S, and then ancient intelligence, stargates, and the void. And then in reality gateway number 1, part 2, we'll do sacred alchemy, self-mastery, initiation practices, and stargate transmission. In reality gateway part 3, we're going to go into sacred destiny teachings and transmissions, initiation practices, ancient intelligent transmissions. In reality gateway part 4, we'll do self-transmission practices, telepathy, and visualization. And then last for this gateway, reality gateway part 5, energy field mastery, reality mastery, and mind mastery. So those are a quick overview of the course structure for this reality gateway part 1. And there'll be reality gateway part 1 through 5 that you guys can also participate in.
Over to me.
Over to you.
So I'm super excited to be A.I.M.S and for us to be working together, for us to be working together. As you know, my legacy of stargates, ancient states, ancient intelligence, and during 2018 there's been a massive ramp up in terms of revealing what is appropriate, what is authentic in our arena. So it is time to redefine this arena. It's time to redefine our consciousness. It's time to equally understand that there is a new frontier, education, that is now emerging, where we are being called, sacred called, to educate in a new frontier, to educate in new corridors and new gateways. And that means we must revolutionize how we perceive our learning, our education, our training to be. So it is no longer appropriate to fill in the blind spots with data. So for me, it is all about stepping into the sacred sites, stepping into the stargates, stepping into the earth chakras, which of course are the gateways to the central sun. The central sun is massively important in the way that we redefine ourselves in our sacred destiny, in the path of east, the path that is, of course, sacred, the path that is light, and of course, that takes us into our sacred sovereignty. That excites me, it energizes me, it revolutionizes the possibilities of our minds and our hearts. When we do that, of course, we step into the most genuine and the most authentic metaphysics, which of course revolutionize our reality. So that is our job as trainers, as mentors. And that is my passion, to deliver the correct information and knowledge base, knowledge foundations to you all, and to deliver the most comprehensive training that will reset your energy system and your consciousness so that you can achieve metaphysics in real time in your day-to-day reality, so that you not only revolutionize your own inner world and your inner practices, but you also take a journey where you can begin to impact your communities, your families, and your own world. Metaphysics revolutionize our reality, and I mean to transcend, I believe, what is so common in our arena. Of course, we have a knowledge base, a 3D knowledge base, a 4D knowledge base in terms of metaphysics, in terms of contact, in terms of sacred connection. But what we must do is have a working wisdom base that allows us to be more responsive in terms of the changing reality of our consciousness. So our technologies cannot be 3D if we merely follow generic instructions. Then this, of course, is ineffective in terms of what is required in our day-to-day lives. So it takes us into a much grander spectrum of creativity, of imagination, of intelligence, of embodiment, of integration, of course, strengthening processes. For me, metaphysics and the mystery schools combine so many arenas of expertise that for me this is the comprehensive training program that will equip you to revolutionize your life. Yes.
So I'm gonna do the A.I.M.S initiation. So, and you'll all get a copy of this too as well, PDF afterwards. So right now, if everyone can just close their eyes and take a few deep breaths and just ground yourself for a moment. And imagine yourself about to take initiation into the ancient mystery schools. It could be of Egypt, it could be of Pythagoras, Da Vinci, any one of the ancient philosophers. And just settle into that feeling of your first initiation into the mystery schools. Feel the honor, the pride. Feel the unlocking about to happen as you take that first step into the temple, the atriums of ancient Egypt and the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. Visualize in your mind whatever it is you see that temple to be, that celestial sanctum where you go to study, where you go to do your inner work, where you go to heal, and where you go to find truth in the depths of your heart and your soul. Fly, ascend, float, drift, release, be. See your avatars, wherever they may be, Buddha, Yahshua, Muhammad, whoever it is, Krishna. See those ancient teachers surrounding you right now, welcoming you into the ancient teachings. Visualize that sanctum as whatever you want it to be, a pyramid, a chapel, a cathedral, nature, the ocean, the forest, space, the void, and create in your mind's eye the perfect picture of what this ceremony should look like and feel like. There could be candles, incense, meaningful objects, sacred symbols, whatever those important relics are to you. Keep your eyes closed. And I'm going to do the pledge right now, and you'll just repeat the pledge. I'm going to give you guys the initiation overview. We welcome you to your first initiation into A.I.M.S. Today, you will be initiated in the phenomenal high-frequency resets that pertains to pro-evolution intelligence aligned with powerful time phases of universal evolution. This high-frequency reset is essential in going beyond the false matrix timelines to initiate and reset your sacred destiny, your alignment, your allegiance to sacred earth and sacred guidance. This is a critical initiation in your quest to revolutionize freedom, sovereignty, and the evolution of the planet. This oath and sacred pledge at the Sacred Earth Gateway is one of self-responsibility, truth, discernment, sacred destiny, and sacred earth. So you're going to repeat after me. We pledge to dream.
We pledge to dream.
We pledge to create dreams.
We pledge to create dreams.
We pledge to create sacred destiny.
We pledge to create sacred destiny.
We pledge spirituality revolution.
We pledge spirituality revolution.
We dedicate our lives to the new frontier of consciousness and reality.
We dedicate our lives to new frontier of consciousness and reality.
We stand for sacred love.
We stand for sacred love.
We demolish conventional.
We demolish conventional.
We heal suffering.
We heal suffering.
We resurrect dreams.
We resurrect dreams.
We revolutionize reality and consciously create.
We revolutionize reality and consciously create.
We are warriors and guardians of hope.
We are warriors and guardians of hope.
We refuse inequality and we refute elitism and suffering.
We refuse inequality and we refute elitism and suffering.
And that is your pledge to the A.I.M.S Ancient Mystery School at this time. Welcome, initiates, neophytes, into the first chamber of the school.
what we would love you to do is to, once you receive the PDF, I'd like you to reconsider it, reread it, work with it, and remind yourself constantly of those pledges that are part of this next frontier. I mean, the work that must now be completed is an education and a journey into our inner world so that we can truly manifest a reality that does not conform with the conventional laws of the false matrix, which of course is denser and less intelligent than that which is sacred and divine. So, Reality Gateway 1, Part 1 is your introduction to ancient intelligence as encrypted in the sacred sites that we visit. The first sacred site and stargate is, of course, Avery Stone Circle. This also will give you access, an entrance into the gateway and corridor of the void, which again is inaccessible unless you have the correct mentors in place to guide you, to lead you, and to show you the way. Again, hugely important so that we do not fail in our initiations by placing significance upon data rather than reality. So this is really important in terms of A.I.M.S and what we stand for as your mentors. We are significantly elevating your own sacred journey, your own spiritual journeys, your own quest in terms of revolutionizing your consciousness. But the initiation must be reality based rather than knowledge based or 3D knowledge based. So the transmissions that you'll experience with us, of course, must be quantum, must be metaphysical. And this will take you, of course, into the necessary activations that will reset your journey and revolutionize your journey and your timelines. Mystery school practices that become deeply embodied in your journey, in your reality pathways, in your relationships on a daily basis and long-term basis as well. So when we speak of temples, I mean, when we stand in a complex such as Avery, it lights me up. It lights up my mind, my heart. It reconfigures my entire field energy systems. It resets me. It activates me. It takes me into successive upgrade and breakthrough repeatedly. In terms of our quest as mentors, we are dedicated to constantly upgrading our own reality, which means we are not only researchers, we are constantly seeking consecutive breakthrough after breakthrough within the context of our consciousness and our reality, which we then in turn generously share with you. And that's what makes this mystery school immensely unique, We also have something quite different. We're teaching in a partnership, and we also are set in new wave frequencies, new frontier frequencies, which again are showing the way in terms of what comes next in our arena. So, this will aid you in resetting your frequency so that you are in world and of world and yet not of it. So, we'll be really embodying the principles of paradox, which of course we may understand intellectually, but again, these can be immensely challenging realities to put into place because of the false matrix agenda and how the distortions of false matrix impact the quality of your consciousness and impact the breakthroughs you may have in your own meditation practices, your own consciousness journeys. So let's take this stepping inside. So I'd like you to really move your consciousness, moving your consciousness physically inside. So your alignment is clear, is set, super precise, super strong. And we're waking up the physical, and we're waking up the hearts, and we're waking up the minds. So we're driving in dedication, we're driving into place discipline and an anchoring that allows you to begin a consciousness journey that is super genuine and super effective in terms of delivering the transformation and delivering the awakening. So, head, and you stay aligned. And you stay in the heart, and you drive your focus down through your biology. And this is where the detail of your inner work, sacred calls you to meticulously witness who you are, meticulously witness the changes of frequency in your field, in your reality. The alignment in the head. Let's slow this super down. And you drop into the center of your brain. Here we open time and space. And as I initiate you into these processes, my consciousness is guiding you. And we're operating in quantum. It's the metaphysical activation. surrender, and allow. Make the connection to me, to us, to this site, the heart chakra of the planet, grounding us, connecting us through the earth grid. Drop into the heart. The breath drives you into the heart, deep into your biology, as your quest is knowing yourself in meticulous detail. This in turn will always reveal the parts of oneself that, of course, require immaculate attention and acknowledgement. These are the times where we must deeply overhaul our wounds. These are the times where we rewrite our stories. We show the way, we lead the way. We acknowledge our history. We acknowledge where we have come from. And we acknowledge a legacy that has gone before us and will come before us and is equally present now, should we succeed in our quest to know ourselves infinitely and lovingly beyond convention. Here at Sight, here at Avery, alignment. Head and heart and feet. Take a breath and open your eyes. Now, those of you who don't work with me, you get huge transmissions. You also receive massive reconfiguration in terms of your consciousness, outdated or unresolved healing agendas, which create density issues or distortions within the context of your current reality. So there is deep wound resolution, as well as ascension, activation, and recalibration of your consciousness, and a resetting and a coming into your sacred destiny. In terms of what that means, then we stand in the gateway of the void, and that will be a later activation that we'll lead you through. But over to you.
Okay. So to kind of bring everything into full circle, after each of these sessions, we recommend that you go back a few times and listen to the recordings that you'll receive. In addition, your daily practices, your spiritual practices, try to be as disciplined and consistent as possible, so that you build up that core strength to keep your practice strong every day, and also the reading that you'll get in each of the PDFs. So
Okay. Practice and discipline.
yes,
I think in terms of my own experience as an international teacher, and in terms of my quest as an individual who seeks to see and have confirmed the spiritual quest and what that means when it truly manifests in our lives and in our reality to create a better world, then what we must see are the results. So the results happen for sure when you are dedicated in terms of your own spiritual practices. And again, when we are dedicated to Mystery School, it will take us on, yes, definitively the intellectual journey, the research element, but beyond that, beyond just being a student of who is more confined by a 3D education, then you enter into the reality gateways of metaphysics. And of course, metaphysics, the sacred alchemy, I mean, it's the secret of our existence. It answers some of the most elusive questions in terms of our existence and consciousness and what it means to set ourselves upon a dedicated quest in terms of sacred alchemy, a dedicated quest in terms of understanding our sacred destiny, so that we are no longer creating our lives in the wound imprints, in the false matrix imprints. And that is a fascinating subject in itself. So when we request you to dedicate yourself to practice, your initiation will progress based on your own willingness to commit yourself to the practices, daily practices, but also to see that everything that we experience is constantly showing up as the signpost in terms of who we are, what we are, and what our consciousness is, and how that is a deep reflection of the teachings, the lessons that we must unlock and acknowledge within ourselves, which creates the resolution and the healing. So we move into that high frequency embodiment. So we are indeed living sacred reality as sacred human beings on the planet.
Love, sacred destiny.
Yes. And to be around human beings, to be a human being who is indeed transmitting high frequency, is one of the greatest gifts you can bestow upon other human beings on the planet. So we're not learning about healing in strategy. We are a living embodiment and a living example of what sacred reality is. And I mean, that takes us into a reality gateway where we are transmitting the highest sacred transmissions. And I mean, that is going to create such an immense reality shift for you, where you're not only stepping into the gateway, which then takes you into the void, that takes you into completely unplugging from the false matrix, denser reality corridors, and also unlocking you from conventional stereotypes and the attachments to those false stereotypes which deny us our sacred sovereignty and our sacred destiny. And then we move into this ease, which it is. We reinstate sacred masculine, sacred feminine, which is what every site on the planet, sacred site, represents in terms of the sacred guidance.
And geographical attunements.
Yes, which is what we are so passionately engaged in, and we stand up for it in terms of complete disclosure, in terms of a massive ascension cover-up, sacred cover-up in terms of our planet. But these gateways reset you, reset your sacred destiny, and reset you as a sacred transmitter of immense universal frequencies, sacred frequencies. We reset who we are.
And that's one of the reasons why we are doing the teachings at these different earth chakra points, such as Mount Shasta, which is the root chakra, and then the sacral, which is in Lake Titicaca, Bolivia. Sorry, no, the sacral is actually in Olu, right?
No.
No? Am I right?
No. Solar plexus.
Solar plexus. Okay, I was right. Sorry. The sacral is in Lake Titicaca, Bolivia.
It is Bolivia.
Solar plexus in Olu.
Yes.
And then the heart chakra is right here in Glastonbury, England. And then we will take you next to the throat chakra, which is in Giza, Egypt, and also Mount Olive too as well.
Yes.
And then the crown chakra, which is in Mount Kailash in Tibet. And when you meditate and when you spend time at these sites, your body and your own chakras in your body becomes geographically attuned to these sites. So helping you to, become more aligned and more grounded and find your center in these sites. So that's why we're doing them at these locations.
What we're also doing is resetting your own individual matrix. So when we speak about gateways and when we speak about the earth chakras, those earth chakras, those gateways are also part of wider matrices of sites, power sites, sacred sites, monuments, etc., etc. So as we resurrect and recalibrate our own individual matrix and we reweave the wound and we recalibrate and repair our own matrix, this allows us to become the technology that allows us to then log into the earth grid and really benefit from the earth grid as a matrix of ancient intelligence and a technology that constantly restores and resets our own individual consciousness, restoring the balance, the life force, the light. So really taking us into constantly resuming and recalibrating our energy levels and our intelligence. That means transformation and awakening is ours and is constantly ours. So we break the cycle of 4D, and we break these cycles of, sorry, I get so passionate when I speak, and we break the cycles also 3D and 4D, and we recalibrate. And I mean, we step into the possibilities of sacred and 5D, which again is exactly what we are being sacred called to do during these times. So this is huge, because I think the question on everyone's lips is currently, it's not about the ascension process taking place and us waiting for someone else to achieve it for us. It's about we're just magnetizing seekers to us, but this is about us moving into a new frontier where we are sacred guided, and then we are led into the practices, the genuine practices that help us to restore and evolve our consciousness. So we're constantly capable of resetting and aligning so that we're in sacred destiny matrix. And that means your syncs, your miracles, your sacred contracts, your alignments. These are all taking you into accelerated timelines. And that acceleration takes you into unplugging yourself from following generic instructions, following generic spiritual mainstream practices that are so tedious and complete boredom in terms of they will not deliver. They will not deliver the life force activation, that is required to revolutionize your transformation and awakening. So this is hugely important because I know some of you are joining us and you have maybe decades of dropping into seminars and classes and in your own practice as well. But these are the times where we must be gifted and initiated into the new corridors. And that means, of course, your mentors must be operating in a new frontier in terms of their consciousness and the frequencies. And I mean the contact that is also supporting the transition that we're in, the sacred contact, the extraterrestrial intelligence. You guys know when I transmit from sites, there is a live contact and communication taking place where reality is constantly being impacted, reality is constantly being manifest in new ways, and the communication is verifying the contact. So there's a live feed taking place that is completely 5D, and that is exactly what contact is about. That's exactly what metaphysics is about. So reality laws become different. And again, we're not quoting or imitating it. We are direct experiencing it through the reality that is now. Yes? So that's what we need to see. We need to see a massive increase of magic and miracles, direct quantum experiences, direct metaphysical experiences, which takes us into groundbreaking gateways in terms of the technology of our consciousness. And that is the new frontier, what our consciousness can be and what happens in our reality and our life feed. So when I speak of convention, I definitively mean that conventional laws are indeed completely overhauled, because that is the new frontier, and that is exactly what we should expect to be happening during these times. There should be a revolution in terms of our consciousness, our beliefs, our attachments, and then the reality that we create as human beings on the planet. So everything can be unprecedented. Yes, do you agree?
I agree. What's the significance of this this earth chakra, the heart chakra? And you've been here a lot, so
Okay, so I have done a lot of work here. What I believe is here, so I'm going to take them through
the heart.
an activation. So when we completely land in the heart, I mean, it's a quest we must overhaul our wombs. We must journey through energy center 1, 2, 3. So there is a sacred alchemy process taking place. It will reset the throat, it will reset the mind, so our dreams, etc., etc. When we have the complete reset through the heart center, then we can move beyond, and then we can be sacred guided by universe. So we must work up through the field first, and then into the cosmic, into the universal. Everything about this particular complex of sites, Avebury, Stonehenge, Glastonbury, the heart, we're absolutely rooted into the earth, into the heart of the world. And remember that the United Kingdom has been at the forefront of so much elitism and manipulation as regards to the false matrix. So when we stand in the heart of the United Kingdom, we are also resetting so many of the false matrix ideals, and we are plugging into the core of where so much of the false matrix has begun, and really back in line with each and every stargate or earth chakra, the 7 gateways to the central sun, and we are connected with that middle gateway. So we have that intrinsic and core anchoring point that is set right in the middle of the earth matrix. So we can really begin to play and slide in terms of the reality gateways, and where we are triggering into one gateway, it will reset and activate the other gateways as well. So we're really beginning to slide and really beginning to play in the earth grid. So we are restoring the sacred sovereignty. So let's step inside again, because I want you to direct experience the reality. So again, head, heart, feet. Play off always my energy, my consciousness. My energy is super, super, super high frequency, but at the same time, when we're in our hearts, we are super solid and we are super grounded, and we become powerhouses of consciousness. Those powerhouses then can change reality, impact the world. So this particular site, hearts. Remember that the UK is at the heart of the false matrix, but also this earth chakra connects with ancient intelligence that has a huge alignment with ancient Egypt, huge alignment with light, the central sun, your initiation, the heart chakra. This is huge in terms of the implications of restoring our consciousness. contact sacred guidance, extraterrestrial guidance, which is pro-evolutionary. Here's your initiation, your reset. We're connecting into a symphony of sacred frequencies. Initiation after initiation that unlocks gateway after gateway into the vast and infinite intelligence of the cosmos, our universe, of the sacred, of Creator. That takes us into a profound and revolutionary education where we stand at the void and we welcome and surrender to a new frontier of education and a new frontier of reality. We must be prepared to listen, transcending the ego, so that our frequency is overhauled, so we stand in sacred reality. The heart chakra of the planet deep connects us, sacred heart. Hugely important in terms of the way that we immerse ourselves in unprecedented intelligence, unprecedented healing. And we stop following the instructions. We stop following the instructions to wait for healing because we have reactivated the sacred gateways that are, of course, ours to be accessed, ours to be generated, ours to be entered.
We have Christmas carols being sung in the background right now.
Oh, it teaches me a lot about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we stand in these gateways, I mean, you get the upward overhaul, which then gives you the access and the initiation and the direct experience. So you are sitting in the sacred knowledge gateways, the sacred healing gateways that are, of course, revolutionary within the context of your own consciousness, your own healing, your own awakening. So we stop looking to the 3D instructions in terms of our sacred and metaphysical education and initiations, because of course 3D is not going to take you into those sacred gateways, it's not going to take you into the metaphysical. So you will perhaps speak of sacred, speak of metaphysics. But of course, if your frequency is not reset, then despite how much you attempt to stand in the gateways and initiate into the void, you are locked out, because universal law states this. And I think we should bring in, we should bring in the principles or the laws of alchemy in order, in order to initiate. There must be genuine frequency changes, which means genuine resolution, genuine healing processes, which allow you the entry into the gateways, which of course is an initiation rite, a rite of passage, which is completely registered, honored, assimilated. In terms of your frequency and your light, it's based in sacred universal laws, and that we'll be going into in terms of later gateways, but maybe you want to speak about that a little.
Sure. So in the ancient mystery school teachings of like the order, we go into many different levels of spiritual alchemy, metaphysics, self-mastery. So I'll go over 7 of those principles. One is to have consciousness of your appetite, so you don't appease the body. So that would be one section that we'll touch base with and go into deeper. We'll go into other things such as achieve consciousness of your soul and of your eternal soul, so you can move from this material body into the eternity. So those are just some things that we'll go into later on as we dive deeper into the ancient teachings of the order and the mystery schools that I've been a part of for over 15 years. But we'll keep that for a later date.
Your overhaul, your recalibration of your frequency. I will constantly assess each and every one of you in terms of your frequency. I'll constantly assess, I'll constantly assist you in recalibrating. Those resets are technically genius, because those resets are often where you have blind spots, where you come up against the same walls of resistance and the same walls that are the obstacles in terms of how you step into the gateway of the void, and you step into the gateway that is, of course, your sacred destiny and sacred reality, where metaphysics and miracles are at the core of your daily life rather than in the dream of your daily life. So again, we are living sacred reality, we're living the sacred dream. And again, that's so in line with ancient intelligence, the mystery schools of Egypt in particular, and the earth chakras, the 7 gateways to the central sun, which of course are massively connected with sacred reality, sacred knowledge, and sacred destiny, which is, of course, high frequency living, high frequency movement. So, okay. So I'm just going to lose my headpiece. We're just going to reset. I hope you can all hear me. So I want to take you through one more initiation. And I believe every initiation that we take and we make, thank you so much, every initiation we take and make should or could potentially become your practice on a day to day basis. I mean, as your mentor, as your teacher, I request politely, I sacred request you to not only understand the initiations that I take you through, but your practice is to meticulously know your way around those initiations every time we practice or step into practice on a day to day basis. Our journeys can become deeper, more meticulous. We travel deeper into ourselves to reveal areas of ourselves that require acknowledgement, deeper transformation, etc., etc. That, of course, is the sacred alchemy, which releases our frequency so we can exist indeed on and in far higher vibration, which means we become unstuck from the false matrix and denser reality gateways or corridors. So let's take you, and I want to slide you into the void in this particular initiation. Those of you who haven't worked with me, do not ever expect generic spiritual practices and instructions. It will not happen. So, head, heart, feet. So much of the work that we will do is deep embodied through your biology. These are the times when the new frontier sacred calls us into our bodies, into the heart of humanity, into the heart of our earth. In order to go beyond, we must know ourselves. We must be committed to earth and committed to humanity. Head, heart, feet. And even that acknowledgement restores our frequency. Our alignment is reset in these gateways, the 7 gateways to the central sun. We are honoring higher frequency gateways. We are honoring higher frequency humanity, higher frequency earth. These are the gateways that take us beyond. Avery, the heart. Feel that frequency slide in the next initiation so you have the all important core strengthening. Frequency slide, the slide in terms of the heart, the slide in terms of your intelligence. Let's smash through the walls of convention, the 3D and the 4D. Light. Head and heart and feet. Head, heart, feet. Open your eyes. So, we're sacred calling you to train as sacred alchemists. Sacred alchemists transmit sacred frequencies. Those who transmit sacred frequencies can respond to reality, can respond to all the stories, and can then also create and manifest, change reality. So, orchestrating, creating, responding, and changing reality significantly and in significant ways. To move out of this kind of 3D gateway that is so narrow and so limited, and you're opening up your creativity, you're opening up a massive range. Again, the gateways allow you to open that range because indeed you can. So you're opening your field, you're opening your mind, you're opening your heart. Mm, too much excitement. So, would you like to add?
Hmm. I say you keep going. Because
Okay, okay. So, you guys know that once the transmissions start to really root into place, as we consecutively work one initiation after another, then the contact, the sacred contact, the sacred intelligence becomes so much more available to us. So we're merging realities, weaving realities based on how we resolve the wound and our frequency distortions. So we have that all important recalibration. So we are weaving and reweaving, repairing our consciousness and repairing, reweaving our reality. So, what I would love to do, and I think because we're here, Solstice Gateway is, of course, the return to light. So, again, this theme of completion and utilizing the gateways, not only the physical gateways of the planet, but also the gateways in terms of summer, winter solstice, spring, autumn, equinox. Those key gateways are hugely important within the context of ancient sites and ancient gateways, 7 ancient gateways to the central sun. Yes, yes, yes. To understand those 7 within the context of those 4 gateways. So we get the reconfiguration through the field, but then we also get the lift off within the context of the cosmic gateways as well. So that is hugely important too, as we resurrect a deeper understanding of our consciousness, the true reality of who we are as human beings as well. What happens at sites such as these? There is not only a contact, a direct contact, education, immersion, but equally these stones, these sites are encrypted with ancient knowledge. Yeah, and they carry the vibration and the frequency that resets us and restores our sacred intelligence and our sacred sovereignty. So,
and they store information
they
from your
store
DNA.
information, they reboot our biology, our DNA, and they give us so much more than researching this stuff from the comfort of your own home and your office. I mean, being in earth and experiencing our earth as the sacred temple is really, really, really super significant. Standing in these gateways. So, for example, if we're in Avery, if we're in the heart chakra, we can indeed travel to Egypt, for example, into the throat if we wish to. So we can travel the timelines into the ancient knowledge. So we are educating ourselves in, again, these metaphysical gateways, which progress our intelligence beyond any conventional means. So we are learning in new ways. And I think that is stunningly new frontier, but also ancient frontier, because again, we're restoring our sovereignty in terms of our intelligence. So we are open to learn in new ways. So we're downloading the data that is encrypted at sites. And that is one of the most important elements of my work as a global alchemist and as a pioneer in terms of ascension and what comes next. In terms of not definitively creating false matrix, there is so much false information, particularly on the mystery schools, on initiation processes, on contact, on ancient Egypt in particular. We must visit sites so that we can check the information that is being gifted by us from so-called or perceived experts in this arena. I mean, when I work at sites, I sacred listen to the sites. I sacred listen to the data that is stored here. That is hugely important, that the information that we may research in the comfort of our own homes, in the comfort of our own offices, that we can indeed verify that that information is indeed truth. Now, this is significant. If the information is correct, then you will translate that into manifesting it as your reality. If it does not translate, then I believe there may be a distortion in the information that is being gifted to you. And distortions also mean that the individuals who are sharing information with you may not have been initiated at particular sites, and maybe not initiated, which means there's a distortion in their frequency and their consciousness, which is going to impact you metaphysically as well. So this is all the stuff that I am passionate about correcting in our arena, so that you can be gifted the generous breakthroughs of genuine initiation processes and genuine metaphysics and genuine sacred destiny. Yes?
So I think we're supposed to be talking about the void next.
Okay, sorry.
Void. The transmission about the void. So we're going to try to stay on track. Now the void.
Okay. But what I'm also engaging with is these are all parts of the void, because frequency impacts and hijacks our ability to enter into the gateway of the void. So
let's explain to them what the void is, that 0 point, in case you don't know what it is.
Okay, are you ready?
We're going to take it over.
Okay. Remember that I will not work in 3D ever. I refuse. So what needs to happen first? I'm particularly interested in your life lessons. Non-resolution of your life lessons, your life experiences mean that you may stand with the tantalizing prospect of the void of creator, but you will stand away from it a short step. So, first is resolution of your consciousness, resolution of your life lessons, and again, resolution of distortions, which means your frequency must be reset. Now, your life lessons mean that your completion of your life lessons, deep, deep, deep healing, means that you enter that reality state. I call it black star state. So you enter that sacred feminine. And when you enter that deep completion, I mean the deep peace that is, of course, sacred and is, of course, the most genuine transformation process, non-superficial, non-generic, just complete peace. Then you step into that gateway. And then you can be gifted with direct contact, sacred contact, which of course is you are led by the mind, the heart, the hands, the guiding light of Creator. I mean, and that journey is just biblical. It is unprecedented, and it is vast, and it is infinite, and it is the tantalizing motivation that makes our spiritual quest in terms of understanding who we are as vast and infinite beings of infinite incarnations, trans-dimensional, multi-dimensional beings. That direct experience of the voids, and I mean that initiation truly takes us into knowing that we are so much more than we have been led to believe we are on this planet. And we smash the false matrix finally. So, in listening to our life lessons, in listening to our sacred destiny, we enter the void, and we know that we are committing ourselves to the path that is light forever and eternally.
We go past the void. What do you encounter after that?
Only more.
Mm-hmm.
Only more! I mean, what can I say about this? I mean, your joy, your bliss, your motivation to discover more. I mean, and you cannot for a single moment entangle yourself in the false matrix, because the reality of the void is that you stand for humility, and you stand in a quest that constantly sees you seek yourself as a better person, and that better person generously gifts to humanity and can generously love another human being without the wound. Yes. So to go beyond the wound. I mean, every frequency distortion. I mean, every distortion in terms of reality And again, I'll go back to this. Our quest in terms of data and knowledge and greed for it, our priority should be wound resolution, should be based upon our life lessons and our experiences. And that is the only way that we stand in the gateway of the void, and not be, and not dream of it, but to go through it and to know that we can be finally educated in an unprecedented way, and we can finally listen to our creator within and without. And that means, oh my goodness, it means contact. It means the 7 gateways to the sun. It means being guided by the highest frequency, pro-evolutionary consciousness, not only for and of the planet, but for and of our universe. And then we are entering a matrix that is not only of this lifetime, but of all lifetimes to come. So we stand in and of and for sacred destiny. So our commitment to all incarnations and all transdimensional incarnations, wherever we may show up in our universe for all eternity. And that means something else in terms of our reality here. We are not only being sacred guided by profoundly advanced extraterrestrial intelligence and sacred intelligence. Thank you, Cherie. We are also committing ourselves eternally to the light. And that means that we no longer show up in the wound to heal multiple distortions on previous lifetimes. This is the big gateway. This is the 26,000 year cycle. It's on, and we are deciding eternally to always walk with our sacred flames. And that's why we returned to belong together again. But I think it's also about group mobilization across the planet. So we are standing with others who are also committed to the sacred flame of sacred destiny. And we stand in one flame, which is a commitment to planet and a commitment to humanity. And yes, we are then the new frontier. Yes. And that's what's standing not only before the void is, but in the gateway of the void, and then finally and completely initiating and committing to it eternally. So this will take us into unprecedented territory in terms of our own practices. And even in terms of my legacy of work, it's time to go beyond. What that looks like, we must trust. But of course, the void and going into it means we are fearless. Therefore, when we listen, then the way, the corridors, the gateways, we're sacred guided. And that means we can finally create the unprecedented. That also means we can save humanity and we can save the planet.
One of the differences, that's the difference between Ames and the other mystery schools that you have heard of, is that those mystery schools have a methodical way of teaching, and it's a lot of academic, it's a lot of intellectual teachings. It doesn't have the experience that you will when you kind of just flow freely, when you allow yourself to be, you know, the word I'm looking for is when you allow the universe to guide you, when you allow yourself to be, um, when you surrender to the creator and to the knowledge that you're being given. Um, so 15 years of studying in the order, and it was a lot of reading, a lot of study, a lot of inner work, a lot of experiments with different techniques, different metaphysical teachings. But with Tracy, it only took about a week to unlock all those, you know, things that were going on in my life. And the the ancient mystery schools are great, and they have, you know, profound amount of knowledge from ancient Egypt, from Atlantis, and from other lost civilizations that we study. But you know, you don't have the breakthroughs, and we talked about that before. You don't have the experiences that you have when you do it this way, when it's a little more open, you know, more guided in a different way. So that's what we're attempting to do, and will do here in this, you know, session and in these workshops and this mystery school, is to bring the knowledge to you in a different way, where it's channeled, and also, you know, we have a kind of great, you know, work relationship in the way that um, she's an amazing channeler and profound knowledge, and she can definitely break through all that conventional 3D teachings that I went through. I was able to, you know, show me the actual truth of what this reality really is, and that's what this mystery school will do for you if you take it seriously, if you commit yourself to your daily practices and transform your life and yourself and follow your path and, you know, be guided. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I also believe that in coming together, then that also safeguards something else as well, because we've also pledged to show up for each other in terms of our awareness and genuine dedication to service, which means we'll constantly set aside our time to our practices so that we are constantly analyzing and evaluating our cause and our genuine service to you, and upscaling and upgrading our service to you, so that we can give of the best of ourselves and our wisdom foundation, but also constantly upscale our own frequency and our own partnership, so that we can fly you into the void further, so we can constantly maintain a trajectory in terms of evolution and progress and pioneering the unprecedented. So we really do smash through the walls of conventional spirituality, the 3D and the 4D, and the distortions that go with that. So we're constantly seeking the sacred truths that take us into the sacred magic. Yeah. You know, in these times, I mean, the 7 gateways to and through the central sun, then to fly as Horus. So we return to light, and we return to the majesty as human beings, which means we can fly to the outer limits of the universe and then bring that knowledge and that resource back to ourselves as human beings. And that's what will change the reality and the quality of existence on the planet. Now, a lot of my teachings in terms of Egypt, definitively you will not discover in mainstream books, and the knowledge for me is initiated through my own life experiences, my own contracts, but also in terms of my own remembering, in terms of my past lives. So the knowledge is intrinsically, just as it's stored at sites such as these, it's stored in my DNA, it's stored in my biology, it's stored in my soul for the reference and the reactivation at critical times in terms of the evolution and the jump starts that evolution needs for humanity, especially during these times. So the unconventional is a sacred gift. And my unconventional is a sacred gift when in these times there are so many distortions and there's so many hijacks in terms of our evolution. So we must commit ourselves to smashing and breaking finally the wound that keeps on hijacking our evolution, your evolution, humanity's evolution, the Earth's evolution, of course. Yeah. Frequency. With my work, you'll see it and you'll feel it and you hear it. And those are signposts that you must also look to in your own practices, because the tangible and direct experience means that your spiritual practices and your daily practices are actually working. And that will also finally help you to integrate what you often what you see or feel or experience as ascension symptoms. These are all super normal, and super normal things must be integrated and lived in on a day-to-day basis. So frequency resets, the tangibles, the gateways, you're really looking for the signposts that say, hey, your reality is changing, go with it and integrate it so that your reality can indeed be manifest as unprecedented. And so your core strengthening processes are put into place finally. And that really helps you to steady yourself during these times of immense change. I mean, it's fairly challenging because, of course, the elite power structures do not want to see evolution in place. We do, and we are committed to it. But you must be committed to it too. And that means we must all work with it together. Yes.
So we're gonna go over what's coming up in the next online workshop.
Yes.
We're gonna do Reality Gateway Part 2, and that's gonna include Sacred Alchemy and Self-Mastery. We're gonna do initiation practices and another Stargate transmission. So that's coming up next on your, that one's gonna be in Uluru. So we'll be doing that one there. So again, that's the Reality Gateway Part 2 of this series, Sacred Alchemy and Self-Mastery, Initiation Practices, and Stargate Transmission. And I'll be doing that one with you guys, the Self-Mastery and the Initiation Practices. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of this first A.I.M.S session here at the heart chakra of the earth, which is Avery, Glastonbury, and Stonehenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love you.
Love you.
And we'll connect with you in part 2.
Yes. And don't forget to listen to the audio from Zoom as a way of just reinforcing. And also for me, I like going back and listening to them because there's always things that I miss. But also what you can do too is when you get the PDF file, use that as a study guide to kind of reinforce the training too that some of the teaching that you heard today as well. And if you guys want to get together in a chat room on Zoom, I think we're going to do like introspection.
Yes.
And where you guys can all talk about the teachings and some of the key points to help you guys together study together as a study group. So thank you guys. Have a happy holidays. We love you. And peace and blessings.
Merry Christmas!
Oh.